We can start now.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. So for today, we'll be talking about blockchain technology. So I'm pretty sure that at one point in time, we've all heard of the word blockchain, or you've heard of the word Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, Litecoin, um, and so many others, USDT, and all of that. At one point or the other, at least in the last 2 years, the rate at which blockchain or cryptocurrency has been coming into the main space has increased a lot. For some people, they would, okay, like for me, as of 2020, I found it hard to believe that Bitcoin had existed since about 2009, and I had not heard about it at all. So you can say that over the years, a lot of people, even somebody that does not really know about tech, somebody outside there, once you just mention Bitcoin, they have plenty of money. So people are very familiar or are aware of the term Bitcoin or blockchain, even though we don't necessarily know what it is, or some people can't define it. So in today's KD, will just be nothing complicated, just the basics, a fundamental understanding about what blockchain is and how it can help us. So today we'll be looking at what's blockchain, why is blockchain important, what are the features of blockchain, how does it work, and benefits, some of the benefits of blockchain. So generally, we can refer to blockchain as a special kind of database made up of blocks. So what we're basically saying is a blockchain in itself is just a database. Now, a database in the sense that we store data, we store information, and that information, where that place where we store it, we are able to retrieve. We can update that data, we can delete it if so much, and we can always add new data to our database. Okay, then where it differs from a regular database is that this data is made up of blocks, or it is stored in blocks. Okay, so in essence, in the best way to describe what blockchain is to call it a database. Okay, now, so a blockchain is essentially a digital ledger of transaction that is duplicated and distributed across the entire network of computer systems on a blockchain. All right, so basically, is a digital ledger. That means the blockchain database is located in the digital space. This can be on the cloud, it can be on a system, it can be on a collection of systems, and whatsoever. Generally, most times, blockchain is usually in connection of computer networks, and we'll get into all that details later on. But it's obviously a digital kind of database. So it is stored up in some cloud or in some space on the internet, or on a digital machine, or on a computer and whatsoever. So it is digital, it is duplicated and distributed across a network of computers. So basically what is happening is, for every computer that is on the network, or for every computer that is linked up together, the blockchain or the database is accessible to each of them. That is, they can read, they can see what is on the database, they can also study what is going on at real time, which gives it, which is very powerful in a sense. If you had worked with, if you have worked with data before in a team, you notice that at times access to the database is not usually distributed to everybody, or is not usually seen to with everybody, or at sometimes somebody is able to see whatever is on the database at real time, and other people are able to see what's there much later. Okay, so but in the case of blockchain, everybody is able to see what is going on at real time. So you can basically observe changes that occur on the database or on the blockchain system. Now, each block in the chain, okay, consists of a number of transactions, and every time a new transaction occurs on the blockchain, a record of that transaction is added to every participant ledger. So let's think of a transaction. Let's say we have some kind of store that makes use of a blockchain to store its information. So basically, when we make a sale, once we make a sale, let's say someone sold 10 units of or 10 bags of rice at a particular price and at a particular discount to a certain customer. So what happens is that information is stored in a block. So you can think of a block as a square. Okay, then that information is stored in there, the transaction date, the time it occurred, who authorized the sale, the customer ID, the number of bags of rice, the price at which it was sold, and if there was a discount that was applied, what percentage of discount was applied from the original price. All of that information is stored in a block. Okay, now we're assuming that let's say that's even the first transaction. What immediately happens is, let's say another customer comes in to buy another bag of rice, or let me say this person is buying 5, and this time there is no discount. Okay, what happens is immediately that transaction is made, a new block is created. All of those details are kept in there. Then it is connected to the previous block in like a chain-like manner. And we'll see why that allows it to be more secure with time. So it is connected in like a chain-like manner. So it keeps going like that in chain. So one block is connected to another block, another block is connected to another block, another block is connected to another block, and so on and so on. That's what gives it the sense of, or the name blockchain. Think about it as a block that is connected in chains. Okay. Now, the goal of blockchain is to allow digital information to be recorded and distributed, but not edited. In this way, blockchain is a foundation for immutable ledgers, a record of transactions that cannot be altered, deleted, or destroyed. So in a sense, the sense of blockchain, or why we use blockchain, is because we don't want information to be edited, or we don't want information to be manipulated, which is a very big problem with data. For instance, if Nigeria was using a blockchain system, a lot of the fraudulent activities that goes on in those places where money is missing and all of that will not be happening, but it's fine. So what happens is the information is recorded and distributed, but it's not edited. Now, another cool thing about having the blockchain is that because they are connected in blocks, the larger the block grows, or the longer the chain gets, the harder it is to remove information, particularly in between. Okay, it won't add up because of the way it is structured. So once you have data, the first data, second data, third data, fourth data, fifth data, seventh data, eighth data, there's a way, the way they connect in chains make it stronger or make it more difficult to break. So let's say you have a blockchain of about 100 units in length, and you want to remove something at maybe position 22. Now it's going to become very difficult. The example coming to my mind will not help because it's like chemistry. I don't know if anybody did chemistry, but there's a way those chains come together and they form like some kind of security. More like it is as it is growing, the strength of the chain increases, so it can't change that. Another cool thing is in terms of editing. Now, let's say in our transaction, our bank transaction that we had, the store. Okay, so let's say for some instance, somebody sold 10 bags of rice, and the person was meant to apply a discount, or was meant to record the discount, even though the customer bought at a discount, and the person forgot to do that. Okay, and he sold it at a discount, but on the system, he didn't record it that it was sold on a discount. Now the person discovers much later. Now the person might be tempted, let me quickly go into the back end or the back office and try to edit the data I put in there. I forgot to record the discount price. So, and because of that, maybe the balancing sheet was not balanced and all of that into that cost problem. So the person wanted to quickly do that and all of that. That with blockchain is not possible. What the person would have to do is to create a new data, or is to create a new block that states that, okay, I was meant to sell this at this price, but I forgot to apply the discount, and this was the actual price that it was sold. So whoever is reading through that block, or whoever is reading through the data or the ledger, would know that, okay, at point 9, this person did not apply a discount, probably an oversight. Then at this time, the next block, the person made the change. So you can basically see what is happening across the database when there were changes, where there was an error, where anything happened. So you can't edit it, you can't change data that is present on database. So which makes whatever is in there, whatever has been stored in that system to be immutable. That is, it cannot be altered, deleted, or destroyed. Now, so please, a picture that shows how blockchain is valuable in every field. We have retail, automobiles, government services, healthcare, insurance, energy, real estate, sports, entertainment, e-commerce, banking, finance, and supply chain. There are a whole lot. I've read a few articles of how blockchain even helps in the health sector. It helps in even agriculture. People that do mass shipping of food from farms. With blockchain technology, you can actually track, if system is built, you can actually track how your products move from one point to another. There's actually a cool illustration for that, about the example of maybe a particular food getting contaminated with maybe a particular or was exposed maybe to a particular chemical along the shipment. Okay, with the blockchain technology, we can actually track how your products were moving from time to time, how it moved from this location to this location, where it stopped. And with that, you can trace it. Okay, they said a particular customer complained that you gave him contaminated goods, and you want to know whether, okay, was all of my goods contaminated, or it's just a particular segment. So with blockchain, you can actually study real time and notice that, okay, this particular product or this particular batch stopped at also location, at also time. Okay, now is it possible that it was at this point we got the contamination, or it was at another point? So with blockchain, we can study things like that, which is very nice. So business runs on information. The faster it is received, the more accurate it is, the better. Blockchain is ideal for delivering information because it provides immediate, shared, and completely transparent information stored on the immutable ledger that can be accessed only by permissioned network members. Like we said previously, that only computers that are present on the network or across the systems connected together on the blockchain can actually access that information. But even the fact that they can access the information does not mean they can edit it. Whenever any transaction or any information has been verified and has been recorded into a block, that's the end. To change that data or to edit that data or delete is going to be very difficult, or basically impossible, if obviously the system was built that way. At times there can be loopholes and all of that, the cyber fraud and all those things. But the idea of blockchain is that you want to be able to deliver information real quick. I've been saying studying transactions in real time. So in real time, as it occurs, you can always see what is going on, which makes access to data extremely fast. It's not in the sense that you now study information, you wait for it to process, blah, 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 blah. Then before you get access, a lot of things could have happened along the way. Somebody could have even gotten in between the processing, changed a few things, but it doesn't occur for blockchain. You are able to see anything that happens in real time, and you receive fast data. Another thing that occurs is because it cannot be edited, because it cannot be manipulated, the data is completely transparent. That is, it is free from manipulation. And that's very important for data science or data scientists or machine learning or artificial intelligence that work with data, we make predictions with data, or you want to study patterns. As far as that data is not manipulated, it makes your prediction or your analysis extremely very accurate. So you won't be battling with problems like, okay, was this data edited? Was it accurate? This is noisy, missing values and all of that. With blockchain, you save or you solve a lot of problems that come with getting data and making use of data as a data scientist. Now, a blockchain network can track orders, payments, accounts, production, and more. We've talked about some of these examples. or because members share a single view of the truth. You can see all the details of a transaction end to end, giving you greater confidence as well as new efficiencies and new opportunities. So everybody see what is going on. There's no sketchy business. There's no one person that has one super right that can edit data at will and all of that. Whatever data you are editing is basically going to be seen by everybody, or whatever change that occurs cannot, okay, you can't actually change. So if you are putting a new transaction, everybody sees it. So if you are even going to have to correct anything, you have to make that correction as a new block or as a new transaction. So it makes your data, it makes you confident of your data, it makes you confident of information you have in your database and all of that. Now, so why is blockchain important? It is immutable from this picture, transparent, efficient, traceable, and it is secure. And properties of distributed ledger or a blockchain is programmable, secure, anonymous, unanimous, time-stamped, immutable, and distributed. So moving on, so features of a blockchain. So distributed ledger technology. All network participants have access to distributed ledger. It is immutable, and it is immutable records of transactions. With this shared ledger, transactions are recorded only once, eliminating duplication of effort that's typical with traditional business networks. So we have the transactions accessible to all network participants, and the transaction is recorded only once. So there's nothing like duplication, unlike what we see in our normal database. So once it has been recorded, it has been recorded. Everybody will see it. There's no need to duplicate that data. Okay. Then if you need new data, you have to create that new data as a new transaction. Immutable records, no participants can change or tamper with the transaction after it has been recorded to the shared ledger. So if a transaction includes an error, a new transaction must be added to reverse the error, and both transactions are then visible. So this is another cool thing that we've been saying, that whatsoever information has been verified and has been stored on the chain, you can't change it. So if you have an error, you have to actually make a new transaction to correct that error. And everybody will now see that there was a mistake in A, then it was corrected in B, and the chain keeps going. Now, smart contract, to speed up transaction, a set of rules called the smart transaction is stored on the blockchain and executed automatically. A smart contract can define conditions for corporate bond transfers, including terms for travel insurance to be paid much more. So basically, a smart contract is basically a set of rules that is attached to the system that allows it's usually flexible to do whatever you need to do depending on how that blockchain is built or what it is being used for. Okay, so this is a diagram showing the features of blockchain: decentralized, peer-to-peer, and distributed. So how does it work? So first off, each transaction occurs. As each transaction occurs, it is recorded as a block of data. Those transactions show the movement of an asset that can be tangible or intangible. So you can store anything on blockchain. It doesn't necessarily have to be a tangible product like rice and all of that. It can also be intellectual product. It can be a CV, it can be your will, somebody's will. It can be a contract, it can be a document, whatsoever. It can be anything. As far as you are storing it in a database, it works. The data block can record the information of your choice: who, what, when, where, how much, and even the condition, such as temperature of a food shipment. So the major thing right there is each transaction is recorded as a block of data. So it's basically you are keeping something in a box, okay, and it's labeled. Now, each block is connected to the ones before and after it. So these blocks form a chain of data. As assets move from one place to another, or ownership changes, and as the block confirms the exact time, the sequence of transaction, and the blocks link securely together to prevent any block from being altered or a block from being inserted between two existing blocks. So basically what is happening is once a new block is created, so it's going to have a chain that is connected to the one before it. And if another one is created after that, then it is going to be connected to the new one. So it keeps connecting that way, that way, that way. So for everything that occurs on the blockchain, for every change that occurs on the database, it is stored in the blocks and they are all connected to each other. So essentially, if you want to manipulate or someone might want to act or change information or add a new transaction, you basically will need to break something that is in between. And there's a way the algorithm works, or there's a way the logic or the the technology behind it works, such that even if somebody attempts to break, it's going to be flagged out. So it makes it impossible for you to just decide that, okay, you want to put a new block in between. It's going to be extremely very difficult, and it's likely not going to happen. Or even if you're able to do it, it's actually going to be seen by everybody that, okay, somebody tried to corrupt something there. But in real essence, the way it is built is to prevent that from even happening at all. Then transactions are blocked together in an irreversible chain. So each additional block strengthens the verification of the previous block and hence the entire blockchain. So this renders the blockchain tamper evident, delivering key strength of immutability. So this removes the possibility of tampering by a malicious actor and builds transactions you and your other network members can trust. So this is what I said previously, that the chain basically increases the strength or the verification of the previous block and does the entire chain. So the more data is stored, the stronger the security of your chain becomes. So it becomes much more difficult to actually maybe putting data in between. So basically, this allows you to trust the data that is there. So if you're working as a team and you're making use of blockchain, particularly when probably you're doing maybe monetary value and all of that, there's a sense of trust in that sense that, okay, you have at least 80%, 90% accuracy that, okay, this thing has not been tampered with, and you can move on to your business. Now, so this is an example. This is a picture showing that works. Transaction is requested. Transaction is broadcasted to a network that consists of computers. The network of nodes uses an algorithm to validate the transaction and the user status. So once the transaction is verified, okay, we create a new block. You can see step 4, a verified transaction can involve cryptocurrency and whatsoever contracts, record of whatever information. The transaction is combined with other transactions once verified to create a new block of ledger. So this is an important step, that whatever information you are doing is going to be verified. It's going to be compared with the previous data, okay, the way the algorithm works to verify your new data, if it makes sense, if it adds up in a sense to whatever you are been having before. Then the new blockchain is added to the existing blockchain, and once it has been recorded, once it has been put in a block, or once that information has been kept in a block, it becomes permanent and unalterable, and the transaction is now finished. So quickly, the benefits is highly secure. We've said some of that: fraud-free transactions, it's decentralized. So everybody basically sees what is going on. There's nobody secretly in the control of whatever is present there, which is why a lot of people opt for cryptocurrency. And so again, so innovation, better transparency, trust, traceability, enhanced security, improved efficiency, tokenization, immutability, and reduced costs. These are all the benefits of blockchain. We can all read up on them at one point or the other. And with that, I'll call it a day. So thank you for listening to my presentation. That's been awesome sharing information with you. Thank you. All right, so I'm done.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was a very powerful presentation. I know there have been a lot of information that has been passed across through that presentation this morning, and it is quite a lot. Well done, sir. So if we have any question, please let's unmute ourselves and talk. Personally, I have a question, and maybe I'll just move on with my own. So if there's anybody that has a question, we can raise up our hand so that we can ask the question. So my question is this. So I just we are talking about blockchain technology, and presently I might be able to say one or two about blockchain, but I just want you to strike a balance between we have people that we only hear blockchain maybe from afar. You only know that, just like you said in the beginning of your presentation, that when you hear blockchain, people start thinking about cryptocurrencies and all that. I just want you to strike a balance. Is it that when we talk about blockchain, we are only talking about cryptocurrency, about Ethereum, about Bitcoin and every other thing, or it is something different.
Okay.
Because I heard you talk about farming, talk about health, talk about a whole lot of things, and this might be confusing. It might be
Okay.
confusing, at least for a lot of people. So I want to know if you can just strike a balance. Is it something completely different, or
Okay.
I just wanted to decipher that part. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So basically, Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, okay, they are built on their own blockchain network. So think of the blockchain itself as a data bank or as a bank. Okay, what do we do in bank? We go to banks to save money. Okay, you can go to banks to save whatever information you have. Okay, and everybody has access to their own personal accounts. Okay, so you can think of that blockchain as also a bank, okay, of data for whatever purpose you are using it for. So blockchain museum or Bitcoin, Ethereum, or whatsoever uses the blockchain as their own kind of data bank or as their own kind of storage system. Okay, so where everybody that has some maybe Bitcoin or whatsoever has access to see transactions that are occurring on that system. So you'll say Bitcoin has its own network of systems that you can say it has its own blockchain, and you can have Ethereum having its own. So there's a way actually you can go online to actually check it. I can't remember the site currently because then I used to look it up, where you can actually see transactions that are occurring in Bitcoin, how much money is moving in and out of the system, and all of that. But blockchain can extend beyond cryptocurrency, which is actually a very a new opportunity for techies. That blockchain can move beyond technology, it can move into healthcare and all of that. So basically, you are just using blockchain, or it's a database that allows you to store information that is transparent or that is safe without being altered or manipulated and all of that. I don't know if it is clear. Is that a satisfactory?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. So let me just let's just give chance for other people to ask question.
Yeah, I actually have a question.
Yeah, okay, so what again?
Okay, so there is something you said that I will agree with, which is blockchain being transparent and able to see records of transactions that has been done over time. And of course, solving one of the issues of corruption. But it's one thing to see the record, it's another thing to be able um get to reverse transactions. Yes, which is one of the things I think the blockchain, I don't know if they've not been able to solve, or maybe they intentionally just make sure that it is that way. you know like in this time when there's a lot of
Sure.
cyber attacks, you see the wallet that your maybe that fund has been taken to. Maybe it was my account, and then somebody had access to my token and took some away, or even took all. And then at the end of the day, when I do some background checks, I find out that, okay, fine, um this is the wallet the person has sent it to and all that. But I'm not able to do anything, and there's no one to report to. And even if you report to the brokers, or what they call them, the exchanges, that okay, this is maybe the owner of the wallet that you found out that, okay, fine, this is the people that took my money. If you
Okay.
reach out to them, they will say they cannot do anything about it.
Oh,
So what do you think?
okay. Well, from my own personal experience, I can't give a clear answer. I'm not a security expert, but from my own little experience, particularly with cryptocurrency, one thing that occurs if you follow crypto news a lot, they give a lot of tips to make sure it is safe. particularly the issue of wallet addresses or buying of particular tokens. Now, at times, like I said, each token is actually on a particular network or some kind of network, and is usually built by some people. What some people intentionally do, if you actually follow Twitter, a lot of people lose money from buying a particular token, and what happens is that the people that built that token eventually run away with everybody's money. Okay, so usually some of those people have more like a backdoor that they can use to exit out of the system, since they are the ones that built it. Then another thing with tokens is, I know that, for instance, particularly in 2020, there was a lot of fraud regarding cryptocurrency. So some people create they create their own network and name it Ethereum, duplicate it, make it look as close to it as possible. Now, there's actually a site that allows you to check before even actually doing any transaction or sending to any wallet address, where you can check that particular wallet address if it is valid, or check if that token itself is valid. So many times what happens is, particularly for a particular token, which it happens a whole lot, that you can see a particular token for it. Let's use maybe Ethereum, for instance. Ethereum is even very popular, so it's likely that you won't get that kind of problem with Ethereum. Let's say a token that is not so popular, for instance. It now happens that you will now see that that particular token has multiple wallet addresses, and you can't find out which one is real. So there is I've forgotten the name of that site that I usually check. I think where you can actually go and drop in that, okay, the contract address, and drop it into that. Okay, yes, now I remember. So for instance, Ethereum has their own blockchain, and they have networks, and they have different tokens that are kept under it. Okay, so I think there are a whole lot of tokens that are under the Ethereum network, like Matic and all of that. So what happens is, if you want to purchase a token, you can get the contract address that you are of the token you are trying to buy, okay, and paste it into the Ethereum network. What happens is, it's going to actually verify and tell you that, okay, this token is actually on the network, or it is not on the network, or it is fake. So, but why at times they won't take responsibilities, that they expect people to actually go the extra step to know that they are not using their money to buy something that is not real. But as per the security, as per where what can be done and all of that, I can't give a valid answer. But I know that there are precautions to take to avoid plenty crypto problems. I don't know if that's an okay answer for you. Okay, yeah, somebody sent to etherscan.io. So
Okay.
that is on the chat box.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just a follow-up to the answer. We have some exchanges too, just like we have the normal blockchain and Ethereum network and every other thing like that. We also have some private what's it called, exchanges that also handle transactions, but they are all connected to the main blockchain, the whole blockchain network. So when you perform transactions using some of these exchanges, and also all these exchanges, we now have different ones. There are some that are really, they are more open. Their transactions are really open. They don't really care for your data and everything. But there are some, they would want to know who you are before they start processing your transactions. Like you have to do your KYC, you have to upload your national identity card, you have to show your picture and every other thing like that. So if you are transacting on such exchange, even if you maybe you mistakenly sent money to somebody and every other thing, they might not be able to recover the money for you. But with proper follow-up and maybe some security measures, they might be able to tell you exactly which accounts this money
Yeah.
was, but that still does not stop fraud and every other thing. But
Yeah.
there's still a way they can try to pinpoint the accounts that the money has been sent to, so far is on their network, on their platform. Yeah. So any other question? All right. So if we don't have any other questions, so we'll just have to end it here today. So please, I just want to remind every one of us that the KD, the reschedule is still pinned to our KD channel, and for the next quarter we will be having KD schedules ready as soon as possible. So, and if you are scheduled to have a KD presentation, maybe soon, maybe next week or days after today, please let's try as much as possible to do all the processes. You should have requested for your topics, should have made your slides, should have requested for approval for your slides, and at the same time mirror those processes also on the Beacom Dev Center app. Thank you very much for joining